there was one. I felt like I was on Deal or No Deal up here for a minute. I got excited. But I'm not on Gutfeld tonight. I'm not going to make jokes, and my speech is actually very serious because we have a problem. And if there's any group of people who know it, it's this group. But I'm going to remind us all anyway, because that's why I'm here. If Donald Trump does not win this election, the Jewish people and Israel will be in serious trouble. I'm not saying this to be dramatic or to exaggerate. It's simply an unfortunate fact. A Harris-Walz administration will pour gasoline on the fire of Jew hatred in the United States. The Biden-Harris administration has already shown they don't care about their own service members, given the 2-year anniversary of the botched withdrawal from Afghanistan, where 13 U.S. service members were killed, let alone the 0.2% of the Jewish population. Because while terrorists supporting anarchists are taking over the streets, threatening, berating, and assaulting Jews, not to mention vandalizing our cities, the Biden-Harris administration is focused on nothing but votes and vibes, right? I mean, come on, the DNC was a huge episode of SNL and Veep. How can we even fathom that Kamala's Joy campaign will be the solution to our domestic or our geopolitical problems? Kamala has most conveniently forgotten that it was her administration that created open borders, complete lawlessness, record inflation, and the weaponization of justice. To add to the long list of problems facing our nation, the administration continues to neglect the Jewish people and undermine the Jewish state. Just days ago, after the brutal execution of 6 hostages, including American Hirsch Goldberg Poland, Biden had the audacity to blame Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for not doing enough. What were you doing, Mr. President? Tanning on a beach in Delaware? Did saving 6 American citizens held by Hamas interfere with your sunbathing? When it was convenient for you, you negotiated with Russia for Brittany Griner. But for Jews here in America, it seems like saving the Jewish hostages is a tier 2 priority for you. And this has led to the dehumanization of Jewish Americans. You, Mr. President, have shown us that we do not matter. Simply put, this administration has failed their strongest ally. They have put, no, we're not going to clap for that. They suck. They have put more pressure on Israel for a war it did not start, compared to Iran and its terror proxies. And even more, they have allowed the left to write and distort our story. 1, that we are oppressors and colonizers, and 2, that only when we are victims should we be lauded like in Schindler's List. Let me tell you today that we write our own story and we must take fate into our own hands. It wasn't that long ago when Lion Joe Biden and Comrade Kamala said going into Rafah crossed the red line, and they threatened to withhold aid if the IDF had went in. And look who was wrong again. The IDF found and heroically rescued Noah Argamani in central Gaza and Louis Har and Fernando Mamran in Rafah. We're not victims. We're survivors. Survivors who know how to rebuild from the ashes and save our people even when the world tells us not to. That is our story. We need to stop seeking the world's pity and permission and accept that we are not going to find it. You know, the biggest lie I told myself was that the Holocaust would never happen again because obviously the world would never let that happen again. And every single day since October 7th has shown me why I was so wrong. But the Holocaust will never happen again, except it's thanks to Israel, the IDF, and Hashem. Unfortunately, it's not that simple, though, because we are facing an existential crisis. Our future is on the line. If October 7th was not an eye-opener, I don't know what more it will take for the Jewish people to wake up. In case all of us haven't noticed, we're on our own. If we do not defend ourselves, no one will. There are so many Jewish people who still feel they're not obliged to speak up because they're worried about their job or their money or their social acceptance. Shame on you. And I'll remind you, the Jews who tried to appease the Nazis were gassed too. So to all of you culturally Jewish Jews, they'll get you too. Don't be the Jew who tried to please the Nazis because they faced the same fate as the rest of us did. And everyone in this room, this is a powerful room. If you have friends who are not speaking up for any reason whatsoever, call them out. We're only as strong as our weakest link, and we need all hands on deck right now. But to those who are doing their part, everyone in this room, kudos to you. We need more of you. Influence everyone around you to do the same, because I promise you, if we speak up, others will follow. Don't tiptoe around the fact that you're pro-Israel. Embrace it. Help me normalize Zionism. To those who haven't woken up yet and are still scared, you know who you are, especially in my circle. Listen, I'm 23 years old. I've been doxxed, harassed, threatened, and deemed unemployable for my outspokenness. And I don't let that stop me. So what's your excuse? When you don't speak up, you make it easier for them to cancel and silence us. You make it harder for people like myself to continue to speak up. You allow them to overpower us. Your silence is complicity. And thinking it doesn't apply to me is false, it's arrogant, and it's ignorant. Because we are in the minority, it's already easy to overpower our voice. So be vocal. Don't let the Jewish people and Israeli people become dehumanized. I really don't know how many more warnings Hashem will send our way. I'll finish with this. The Lord said to Cain, "Where is Abel, your brother?" Cain responds, "I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper?" We are not Cain. We are our brother's keeper. We are Moses. One day after Moses had grown up, he went out to where his people were and saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew, one of his own. Looking left and looking right and seeing no one, he struck down the Egyptian. Like Moses, we look to the left and we look to the right and we wait for someone to intervene and help us, but we're left to defend ourselves. We must all be Moses. Thank you.